started off as an airman, he's an avionics technician. Then he became a flyer. He's done Jaguar flying, he's flown the Tornado, so he's been out in Iraq and Afghanistan, and he's now back as an instructor's instructor at Cranwell. We're seeing a mixture here of basic aerobatic manoeuvres and slightly more advanced. We wouldn't expect the student to do them all, but some of the basic ones, pulling up there, that's the first part of the loop. So a student would be expected to do that, but pulling through, that is a very basic loop. When you go and start your flying training, that's one of the first manoeuvres you learn. It'll take about 10 hours to go solo on this, and then you're left to your own devices. We teach them formation flying, low-level navigation, and aerobatics such as this, instrument flying, and it's so graceful. Listen to this appropriate music. I think it's Enya. And as Sean Kimberley comes in for his final pass, dipping down, pulling up, and putting in a couple of those advanced flick manoeuvres. Putting up there, stick them rather hard over, and flick. Farewell to Flight Lieutenant Sean Kimberley, who teaches the Air Force instructors how to instruct, if you like. And to the haunting sounds.
To the left, joining us from over Clacton here. Once you have learnt to fly the Tutor, you will advance a little more onto the Tucano.
That's right. The Tucano is much more advanced than the Tutor. That's the one that you go onto if you're going to be a fast jet pilot, fighter pilot in old terms. It speeds up your thinking. It's a tandem cockpit, i.e. that means that the student sits in the front cockpit, the instructor at the back. It's designed just like the Hawk cockpit, so the transition from this to the Hawk is very similar, but you see it goes a bit quicker. It's capable of 300 knots, 340 miles an hour, and here it's about 250 knots, demonstrating only basic manoeuvres at the moment, which is rapid aileron rolls, slow rolls, loops, barrel rolls. You're going to see this aircraft is from Linton on Ouse, which is up in the Vale of York, and is flown by Dan Heaves, who is a flying instructor. He got his wings and fairly competent sort of chap, so they said go and teach other people how to do it. That's unusual because it's only the best ones that go and become instructors, known as creamids, i.e. creamed off from the rest of the operational guys who'll do this before going operational.
So Ray, in terms of the difference between this, a propeller plane, to the next step up, the Hawk, of course, what the Red Arrows use, is it in any way similar?
Well, you can see the propeller at the front. It's what is known as a turboprop. The previous aircraft was a piston engine airplane, which had pistons which turned the propeller. This has a jet engine that turns the propeller, and it gives guys a bit of jet engine handling and turboprop as an intermediate. The aircraft deliberately chosen from Brazilian design, an Embraer, I think it was a 312, because of its fuel efficiency. We had a jet promise before this which just drank the fuel, and we had to do something to make flying training a little less expensive. It trains student pilots. Also, they used to be called navigators, but now they're called weapons system operators, or WESOs. Student pilots will fly 130 hours on this, which will include general handling, i.e. that's just learning how to take off, land, and do this sort of stuff, aerobatics. Instrument flying, navigation, night, formation, low level. So it's the lead in to the fast jet world. Now there's your first part of that basic manoeuvre I was telling you about. He rolls, traces the pattern of a clover leaf in the sky. So that's known as a quarter clover, because he's only done one of them. Full four, as a proper clover leaf. Pulls up there, one roll, another one. So that will be called a half hesitation, pull through a Cuban. If you do a full Cuban, that's a figure of 8 on its side. So he's just done the first half of it, so it's called a half Cuban. Depends where you roll as to whether you call it horizontally. Something similar there, look. He's rolled inverted. That's called an outside turn, where he's being thrown out of the aeroplane. It's the wrong way. See? Just rolled the correct way up. That's very uncomfortable. You get a thing called negative G on that. All the blood rushes from your boots into your head. You can't below the wings. No airflow of the wings, so the wings are stalled. But the engine is causing airflow to go over the rudder, that big thing that sticks up at the back. And it's that which causes the aircraft to twist. Maximum rate turn. So he's turning as hard as he can there. That'll be 4 and 5G. Uncomfortable. Hold. Check. And roll. 1, 2. You've seen this before. Pushing up. Negative G. Hold it, hold it, hold it. First part of the horizontally. Pull back down. Check. That's it. Pulling through. That's what we call that particular manoeuvre. A lot of G coming on there. When it gets to 500 feet, check. It's easy, aerobatics. The aircraft lends itself to it. It's a nice flowing sort of performance here, and the aircraft is a natural for this sort of aerobatics.
It's so graceful, and I'm very pleased to say the wind turbines on Gunfleet Sands ahead of us have started turning, a bit like their own propellers in front of us as we...
Now that farm out there, the propellers aren't going around fast enough, it'll never take off.
No, he's going to have to pick up the pace a little bit to catch up with our Tucano.
Rolling, hesitation, roll, that's 6 points for the looks of it, and check there. Stop into a maximum rate turn, onto what we call the 40